I've said this on everywhere I've ever been. At critics, every single one of them can eat my ass for my whole career. Eat my whole ass. You mean nothing to me. Do the art, and then we'll have a conversation. You know who can criticize me? Someone that I look up to that's in my business. If Chris Rock wants to come up to me and talk shit about my act, I'll listen to every word, take notes, and let that hit me hard when I walk home. Yeah, some guy that writes from some building somewhere, you know, who gets a paycheck and is eating Jimmy John's at his desk while he talks shit about my act. There's no fucks to give about that human being.
I think that's a hard. I think it's an important level to get to, and it's not even like a professional level. It's like a personal level.
It's a life level. Yeah.
Being like, okay, I don't care what random people say. It's really hard because you do care, but it's the ability to just not look at it. Like, it is, like I've always said, like if Kevin wants to talk about me, like, hey, this is what you're not doing well at work, I'd fucking in a heartbeat.
Right.
And not most of my peers here anymore, but there are probably 7 people here who I'd be like, okay, this is an important note to take. But everything else, it's just like, dude.
I'd listen to a fan more than I listen to a critic.
Would you?
Yeah, because fans interaction, I give a shit about people that are trying to enjoy my shit with me. That's half of the fun for me doing podcasts and stand up is interacting with these people that I want to connect with on a comedic level. If you get my humor, let's have fun with it. If you want to have a conversation about something you would disagree with, yeah, I mean, maybe I can entertain it depending on my level of interest. You know what I mean? But I care less about people that have no interest in me as a human being other than criticizing. Yeah, what the fuck? That's insane.
Do you feel you have to play the game at all, though? I mean, clearly you're not. But are there people who are like, listen,
I play a game of like, if I do the FX TV show, you know, and we're doing the show, it comes out in March. If they want me to do some press stuff, I'll go do some press stuff, but it's on my number. Like, it's the way I want to do it. Like, I'm not going to fake it.
Like, when you say, like, you know, eat my whole ass, are you now worried that there's going to be some critic being like, oh, yeah, well, fuck, I'm going to crush shit,
hey,
put it in the paper, whatever it is.
Give me 0 stars, critic, and then I'll be
care.
Peter Luger, and I'll get twice as many customers the same day that you said I suck. Like,
yeah, that's true.
They wrote shit about him, them in the New York Times or whatever, and then... You know, all that was I mean, I almost think that was divisive by Luger. That was like, give us the worst review of all time.
Right, let's go viral.
Yeah, because look at how many people now are talking about it. Rogan talked about it on his show. It's all over the news. People are lining up again to go back there. It's like, no matter, I hate the phrase that no press is bad press, but at some degree, middle press is bad press, right? Like, if you give you a 3 out of 5, it's like, yeah, it was okay, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad. That's bad.
I've always said that. We looked at our like iTunes stars for the first time like ever the other day, and it was like a lot of 5 stars, then some 1 stars, which I get. Just
sure, I like that. I like the 1 star.
But the people who are like 3, 2,
tough.
The 2 star, I'm like, what?
That actually hurts a lot more.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah,
that
the middle.
Listened and gave it some thought.
Right.
You weren't just like, I like it a lot, or like, no, I don't. I hate those guys. Like,
yeah.
Well, I listened and it was not that funny, and I really think that they need to know it. Like,
3 is like a dinner my mom cooked me. You know, I was always like, yeah, no, it was fine. You know, yeah. It's like so rude. She knows it hurts her. That hurts her feelings. You didn't like it? No, it's fine. Yeah, no, I know. I love meatloaf. You know. Yeah. No, but when I say eat my ass to critics, like, I think critics know who I'm talking about. Like, even smart critics know. I'm talking about the guys that divisively go after people just to try to bury them because it makes them look good. There's that one
asshole whose job, whenever there's 100% on tomatoes, he's the one guy who ruins it and shit like that. He's like known as that guy.
And look, I'm not double backing on what I said. I'm sure a lot of these people are fine, nice, hardworking people. I get it. They're just trying to have a fucking job. But they know in their business how many people bait and use clickbait and try to fuck someone's namesake because it's going to earn them clicks. I mean, I've said this before. If Trump wasn't the guy that said fake news, if it was Obama that had coined that phrase, it would be the most respected phrase today. It's because a lot of America is like angry at Trump, so they're like, fake news, oh yeah, everyone's a liar. It's like, yeah, a lot of news is fake, and a lot of news is fabricated. And a friend of mine is going through some nonsense that I don't want to divulge, but like, he's going through some legal nonsense with his family, and the newspaper's writing awful shit about his family, and a lot of it's just not true. Yeah, but how could you curb that when how could you beat them at the game that they love to play? Like, that's they're the best at it. They run it. They own it. Yeah, they're the best at it. So it's a lose-lose with most journalistic either critics or, you know, these opinion pieces on their view of you and what you're doing.
At least like with politics, there's like some issues to talk about. When you're talking about a movie or a stand-up or whatever, it's all fucking objective. You know what I mean? So it's like
Chappelle's special is proof. It's proof that Vice tried to jump on that train of shitting on him for some reason, which I thought was extremely odd. You know, because some of the trash that Vice puts out is insane. You're like, who are you guys? That's nuts, dude. You got 9 shows about mushrooms. Like, you're the creative geniuses that we all need in comedy.
The Chappelle stuff was you could tell it was all so forced because it lasted 2 days. Yeah. Like, if something actually is an issue, it'll like it has longer than a 48-hour shelf life. People
Yeah.
talk about it. It was like Chappelle's problematic, and then it was like, here's our article, here's the 7 tweets we saw about it, and then everyone's
People
like,
are saying.
okay, no one really
People are
cares.
saying.
Who are
it's
the people?
4 people.
Yeah. All
4
my
tweets.
friends that are a part of any community that he made fun of, they loved his shit. Okay? I have a lot of gay friends. I have people in the LGBT community, and all of them that have a sense of fucking humor enjoyed the take because it was fun and
That's
it's
what it all
comedy.
comes down to, is a sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean,
You either got one or you
You
don't.
know, my the guy who plays the piano at the Comedy Store, his name's Jeff Scott. He's phenomenal. He's been there for years. He was like, you know, he's openly gay, and he talks all the time about when comics make fun of, you know, when they tell gay jokes or whatever. And somebody was like, "Oh, does it ever like get under your skin?" And he's like, "Well, if we fought really hard this long to be treated as equals in society, why would I not be subjected to also being made fun of just like anybody else?"
Yeah.
And I thought it was a brilliant take. I was like, "Yeah, that's right." He's like, "I'm not saying
don't want
should
special
be,
treatment,
You shouldn't
you
be
know?
spewing hate speech about homosexuals. You shouldn't be on stage being like, we should kill them." Yeah. But if you're
But if
making a
it's a
joke
punchline,
about it,
yeah.
and most of the time, Jeff's the first guy to laugh at that
Yeah.
stuff, like because. He's like, yeah, this is we want it to be normalized. If you wanted it to be normalized in society, anything, why
gotta
can't we
be-
all little joke about it? We joke about everything else.
Right.
We
That's
joke
what
about
the,
everybody
Gotta
else.
be funny. Funny trumps all.
Yeah,
you
funny's
know?
fun. If it's not funny, you have to also let it go.
That was
Yes.
my
Put it in
favorite
the air.
part of the Chappelle stuff, of the Chappelle special. At the end, when he does like the Q&A type thing.
Oh, yeah.
He was telling the story about the transvestite in Chicago, and it was like, I've read an article about you normalizing hate speech because of your jokes. Like,
Right.
why don't they say you normalize not transphobia, but be transvestites
Mm-hmm.
because of your comedy and making fun of us like that? And Chappelle was like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. And it is the best way to normalize something, be it homosexuality, is fucking making jokes about it.
Well,
it like everything else.
and
Not-
it
and
has
not
to be
evil
without
jokes,
ill
not
will.
mean
Yeah, it
jokes,
has to be
right,
without
yeah.
ill will because you can always tell when someone has. I was thinking about somebody in particular, but you can always tell when somebody has material
was it?
that
Say their name.
No, I don't need to associate with the person, but you can always tell when someone's doing that on purpose, when they're being a troll and there is kind of some evil behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I can, Ann Coulter says stuff because she's a troll, but I think she means a lot of it. Like,
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's
when she says
you
that stuff.
believe
Yeah,
that in
yeah.
your heart,
The Westboro
yeah.
Baptist Church means every single second. That ain't a joke. When they're
Right,
like God hates. There is no subversiveness to it.
Right.
So like you can always tell, even if they're making like coy stances that they think are clever or cutesy, they're really being assholes.
Yeah.
There's a massive
people.
difference, and it's so obvious that if you don't see it,
It's
we don't
very
we don't
easy.
need you around anymore.
Yeah, if you
Jump off a
can't
roof,
see that,
right? If you don't
fucking
know
kill
when someone's
yourself.
being honest
Yeah.
and honest or making an obvious joke, if you can't tell the difference, then comedy is definitely not your shit. Take up anything else. You know what I mean? This isn't going to be your saving grace of life if you can't let shit go and just feel it out. You know?